A week later. All is well. It is rest day number 2, and the travellers have left the cool shade of the Jordan Valley for the long ascent up into the Judean mountains. Mary has hardly left her room all day. The heat has affected her badly. Her feet are now very swollen, her back aches, and her heart pounds like a bass drum every time she walks more than a few paces. This is bad news because the rest of the journey is an unrelenting climb. Poor Joseph can't do anything right. He is in trouble for making Mary spend an extra day in the waiting room for Hades. He got into trouble for suggesting that they go for a short walk to stop their limbs from stiffening. He was curtly informed that he appears to care more for that wretched donkey than he does for his promised wife. And Mary has just stated categorically, there is absolutely no way that I can even begin tomorrow's climb up into those mountains. I'm sure that we could make our excuses to the census people, the harassed husband replied, but didn't we both agree that it is almost certainly God's will that your baby be born in Bethlehem? Well, if God wants us there, God can very well get us there himself, was Mary's strained reply. If only our boss would let us do a simple translocation, we could solve the whole thing perfectly safely with no more distress. I've asked Mary and Joseph's guardians to ensure that they get a good night's sleep and to try and plant some encouraging dreams in their heads. I'm not hopeful that Mary will be fit to travel tomorrow, and I've just received word from Sephrim that all the accommodation in Bethlehem is now full. The local residents have taken to sleeping under the stars so they can let out their homes for huge sums of money. There is no shortage of money, it seems, amongst King David's descendants, with the notable exception of Mary and Joseph. Dawn next day. No joy. Mary's feet are now so swollen she can barely walk, and there is no realistic possibility of their going anywhere today. Math has an idea. If Joseph spends his money on the services of a doctor, we can arrange for Sephrim to give him some more when they get to Bethlehem. This is pushing at the boundary of non-interference, so I shall consult my boss. To do that, we will need to discuss about the whole Sephrim plan, which I'm afraid he may not like. In the meantime, I have Maph, Firmian and Hagog scouring Jericho for an honest doctor who knows his trade. Back from my boss. We have permission to go ahead with the plan, and Sephrim has plenty of money left. My boss reaffirmed that it is important for his son to be born in David's town. He even agreed to a little indirect assistance. Hagog and Firmian have now found doctors that they consider to both be suitable, but neither angel trusts the other's judgment. Math suggested that we direct both physicians towards Mary and use whichever gets there first. However, I decided that we should focus our efforts on Firmian's chosen medic. Hagog is sulking. I would have gone with his choice if we'd been searching for a vet, but I sense that now was not the time to say so. Our next task is to get Joseph to find the right doctor. Prearranging for two human beings to meet one another is an imprecise science. Mary is still asleep. That night, Mary is asleep. Joseph is praying, which is good for us because it will make him more sensitive to our help. The doctor cost Joseph every Roman coin he possessed. Maph had to send the morose Hagog out into the street to find a generous passerby to fund the prescribed herbal remedy. By our boss's grace, he quickly spotted someone who was praying. It makes humans more easily visible to angel eyes. And they were happy to help the pregnant mother. Hagog is now a little happier. Firmian reports that the potion is doing the job required and Mary may be fit to travel in the morning. We have lost a valuable day. Next morning, Mary has had a large bowl of herbal brew and our party set off as soon as there was enough light to travel by. Now for the most dangerous part of the journey. The road from Jericho to Jerusalem is long, steep, and notoriously dangerous. It has to be completed in one day. Mid-afternoon. If physical creatures could hear the voices of angels, the inhabitants of the universe might have been deafened by the wail of dismay that just echoed around heaven. The donkey has gone lame. Up to this moment, Joseph has patiently absorbed the mounting tension of his situation, but a few moments ago, he snapped. He yelled, swore, and kicked the faltering donkey. Understandable, but unwise. Before Hagog could intervene, Maph and Fermion were desperately half carrying, half pushing the witless beast up the mountainside. I had to bawl for order to allow our shy animal expert to take control. Apparently, the problem is quite simple. A sharp stone caught in the soft flesh of the donkey's hoof. Joseph should be able to deal with the situation if only we can get some sense into his panic-stricken head. After some debate, it was agreed that the surest access to the carpenter's mind came when he was asleep. But he is unlikely to sleep while he's marching up and down the mountain track, angrily throwing rocks. Eventually we got to him through Mary, who said, "Sit down, Joseph, and breathe deeply for a while. When you've calmed down, we'll talk it through together." If he does drop off to sleep, Hagog will instruct him several times how to remove the stone. With all that prayer last night, he should get the message. And that same prayer last night has left him tired enough to sleep. Next instalment. Joseph woke from 20 minutes sleep looking brighter than he's looked for days. Mary said calmly, "All right, let's work through the options we have. Whatever happens, we know that God is with us." Joseph replied, "Yes, we'll do that in a moment, but first I just want to have a look at his hooves, just in case he's trodden on a sharp stone." They're already on their way again. They will not make it to Bethlehem tonight, but at least they should reach one of the Jewish villages around Jerusalem before sunset. Maph has gone ahead to arrange some accommodation for the night. It should not be too hard to find someone willing to take in a young girl who is on the verge of delivering her first baby. I hope.